All right, guys. So this is our last lesson for this unit. We're going to talk about dividing polynomials. Tomorrow we'll do an in-class like review day. We'll do kind of like our little jigsaw activity that we've done before. After that, we'll have our test on Friday for Unit 4. Okay. So let's review a couple of things first before we begin. So what was the missing number be there? I'm going to give everybody a chance to think about it. Just ponder for a second, but I'll comment. Yeah. All right. So, Crystal, what would the answer be? 3x. So, first of all, if I want this, if I need to multiply this by something to get 3x cubed, it's got to have a 3 in it, right? Otherwise, we're not going to have a 3. Also, this one only has 2 x's. This one has 3. So I'll need another x, and I only need one more. And so the answer is 3x. Okay, so that's a skill that we're going to want to know how to do today, is to be able to find what would you have to multiply it by to get a specific outcome. So that's something that will be handy for today. Let's take a look at another thing here. Let's review long division a little bit. Probably been a while since you guys have seen one of these. So, yeah. All right. So, who remembers what to do here? Okay, go ahead.
So, you see, like, if 3 can go into 7, but it can't, so you do,
no, it
can, never mind. So you do, like, 3, you put the 2 over the 7.
Okay, good. So she said something about a 2, and she said you put a 2 over the 7. Okay. Now, why did she choose 2, by the way? Because it goes 2 goes into 7 twice, right? So basically, you divide the first number by this thing out here. So 7 divided by 3 is 2. All right, so thank you, Aaliyah. What is the next step? Okay, Aaliyah, go ahead. What do we do now?
You do 3 times 2, and then you put it under.
Good. So you take this number and you multiply it, and you put it underneath, right?
Yeah.
So I'll put multiply and then put underneath. So 2 times 3 is 6, and it goes here. Okay? Now what? Not yet. Not yet. Subtract is first. So we're going to subtract 7 take away 6 is 1. And then you bring down the 4. Okay? So, now what? At least try to. Okay. Okay, so what we're noticing is then at this point, we're starting over. We're repeating the steps again. Remember how we did 3 goes into 7 twice? Multiply, put it here, subtract, bring down. After that, you repeat. 3 goes into 14 how many times? 4 times. You multiply, you subtract, bring down, repeat. It just keeps going over and over again. Okay? So 3 goes into 14 4 times, but 4 times 3 is only 12. So we subtract it to find out what's left. It's 2. And you bring down the 6 and you repeat. Okay? So let me use my cards now, and I'll have you guys help me walk through the rest of this problem. Denise, what do I do now? How many times does 3 go into 26? So I'll let you tell me. 8 times. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask Leah, what's the next step? What's the next step? Not yet, but we will do that eventually. Let's see if Lily knows. Lily, what's the next step?
Wait, no, you divide 3 by 26.
Weird. Huh? So you multiply these. So we did that. We did the 8, right? So now you multiply as you get 24, and you put it there. Girls, I'm trying to teach now, okay? Sally is not with us. And Crystal, what's next? Subtract, and that's 2. Thank you. And then I'm going to ask Amaya, what's next? Bring down the 5. You guys keep giving me the next step, but you're right. That's okay. Armani, what's next?
You see how much 8 goes
You said it wrong, but you're thinking right.
Yeah.
You see how many times does 3 go into 25, and that's 8. So there's your 8 you were thinking of. And then Natalie, now what do I do? We just did that. So that was 8, and I put my answer here. So what comes next? Multiply the 8 times the 3. Okay. And then next I'm going to ask Cal, what's next? Subtracting, which is 1. Very good. So now, here's a new question that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll see if you know. How do you write your answer, Sophia? How do you write the answer? Not sure? Okay. Someone want to tell me how we... Let me... I want to see if anybody new wants to go, but if not, I'll go to Amaya. All right, Amaya. Okay, go ahead, Denise.
You just write the top number.
The top number. There's more, Amaya.
You write an R and then... Oh my God.
So you could put an R in one, or
You could do the decimal thing.
you could. There's one other way that we're going to do today, though. You take the... Go ahead, Lily. So what's the fraction going to be? 1/3. You take you take the remainder and you put it over the number you were dividing by. So the answer is 2,488 1/3. Okay. Now why did we review that? Because we're going to be doing that today, but we're doing it with polynomials instead of just regular numbers. So, but these steps are pretty much going to be the same every time. It's really the same. You should pay attention now, buddy. So we're going to divide. What? Did I say, is it wrong? Were you paying attention? No. Okay. I thought you and Kevin were talking. All right. All right. Well, my bad then. But anyway, so divide first, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Okay? So there it is. We're going to be doing that today, but with polynomials. Okay? Yeah.
Oh, it was like dad, mother, sister, brother. Sorry. Brother, people. Like, oh, no. That's how my teacher told me.
We good? All right, let's roll. Well, actually, let me do this instead. Okay, so you're going to be given problems that look like this. Yeah, they're
On
ugly.
the test.
Yeah, go ahead and write that down. We'll call this example 1.
Okay.
If you write down example 1 right now, it's ugly. There's a lot to write down.
Yeah, there is. Okay. Well.
Okay.
Judge a book by its cover much, huh?
I know.
Look at it.
You
Look.
haven't even seen it yet. You just look at it, you judge it.
Yeah.
But I will say that your judgment could be right. We'll see. I think that this is a little bit teased. But once you get the hang of it, it's very
Did you
repetitive.
just say a little bit? Like,
I would encourage you to wait and go through example 1, but if you absolutely go, you can. The problem is, if you don't get that, you've missed half the lesson. So I would encourage you to wait. All right, so here we go. Step 1 is to write it as a division problem, like with the bracket instead of the little division sign. So we're going to go like this. This whole thing goes on the inside.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
And then the other one goes on the outside.
the first one always goes into
There you go. Yeah, so if you want to write a little note, you could put first. Second. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare our very first number here with our very first number here, and I'm going to ask you, what would you have to multiply this by to get this?
7x squared.
7x squared. So I didn't want you to shout it out, but that's okay. But you're right, it is 7x squared. So first of all, to get the 7, I would need a 7. And since this one only has 2 x's, I would need 2 more to get 4, right? So we're going to be multiplying by 7x squared. Okay, so let's put 7x squared there. Yes.
Yeah, what'd you put all the way over
I like to line them up that match. It's not a huge deal if you don't, but I like to line them up if they match.
Okay.
All right, now guys, what we just did was the first step of long division, right? You divide this into this. That's a good question. I'm going to say for now, just do it, okay? But that's all we need to really look at is this first term. So we divide this into this and we get this. That's the first step of long division. The second step was to take this and multiply it by, don't draw these lines, but you're going to multiply it by all 3 of these. And you put your answer here. Well, we're getting there. All right, so let's do that. So let's multiply 7x squared by all 3 of those and put our answer down there. So what's 7x squared times x squared? What is 7x squared times negative 3x?
-21. No, positive.
No, it's negative.
Yeah.
X to the?
Third power.
And what is 7x squared times negative 5?
35x.
Okay, so there's that.
Okay, then what?
Good question. So you tell me, what did we do in long division last time? You subtract, right?
But those can't, the first one can't.
So that should always happen, by the way. So the next step is to subtract. So that means you're going to go through and do minus, and if you subtract a negative, what does it become?
Positive.
So you go through and change the signs.
Okay.
Okay?
You gotta write this.
I will write some steps for you in the next round because we're going to have to do this a couple times. So here we go. Now, just so you guys know, this first term should cancel every time. So notice how they're identical but opposites? They go away. So cross that off. Now, notice how my like terms are lined up? Cube, cube, square, squared. That's nice. It should work out like that every time. What is negative 27 plus 21?
-6.
And it's still an x cubed, right? So we're just combining like terms. How about this? What's negative 11 added to 35? 24 x squared. And then what do we do after we do the subtraction? You bring down the next number. Okay? So it's the same process, it's just uglier.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. So let's begin here. So this time I'm going to tell you the steps, and then I'm going to let you tell me the answers. So Jedrick, the next thing I want to do is I want to find out how many times does this go into this now. That's our new thing. So what would I have to multiply this by, Jedrick, to get this? Negative 6x. So let's put that up here. Negative 6x. What would I have to multiply this by to get this? And the answer is negative 6x. All right, my next question is going to go to Shamani. So Shamani, the next step is to take this number and multiply it by all three of these numbers and put my answer here. So I'm going to let you walk me through that. Now remember, it's negative. What is negative 6x times x squared? And it will be negative because this is a negative times a positive. So now we'll do the next one. How about that one? Negative 6x times negative 3x. First of all, what's a negative times a negative? Okay. And what's 6 times 3? 18. And x times x? X squared. And then the last one, we have negative 6x times the negative 5. Hopefully. Very good. Positive 30x. Okay? So we're just repeating the same steps we did before. All right, so now I'm going to ask Aaliyah. I'm going to ask you to tell me, you don't know what to do? We're good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to subtract this now. Now, what will that do, though? If I subtract this, it's going to become positive. If I subtract this, it's going to become... And if I subtract this, it's going to become... So you just change the signs, basically, right? All right. Now, let's go down and do our actual subtraction here. So, Vidal, what happens here? Negative 6x cubed plus 6x cubed. Okay. So what's negative 6 plus 6? No. Okay, so negative 6 plus 6 is 0, right? And so those go away. Next we have 24, Vidal. 24x squared minus 18x squared. So we're going to do 24 minus 18. 6x squared. And then finally we have 12 take away 30. Good job. That's a tough one. All right. And then I'm going to ask David, what's next? Good job. So you guys, hopefully you're starting to see, even though this is ugly looking, it's a process that you should have already, like you have some ground for in your brain. We're really just following the same steps. All right, so let's do it again. Now this time I'm going to ask more vague questions and ask you guys to get me there. So Adrian, what do I do now? Good. And what's the answer? Yeah. So in other words, what would I have to multiply this by to get this? And the answer is just simply 6. Okay, good job. So now I will ask Adrian, what's the next step? Nothing? Okay. Let's try Kimaya, what's the next step? What do you think?
You just put that 6 right there.
Mm-hmm.
You multiply 6 with those numbers.
Very good. That's right. So let's do that. Kimaya, what's 6 times oh, it's white. That's why.
X turns into 1, right?
So what is 6 times x squared? That's what we want to do. So what's 6 times x squared?
6x
And squared.
squared.
And what is 6 times negative 3x? That's our next one. 6 times negative 3x.
18.
Good. I think it's negative 2, right? Because that one's negative. So negative 18. And since there's an x there, we'll have an x also. And then our last one, 6 times negative 5. Good. It's negative. Yeah. Good. No problem. You got it. All right. Let's ask Michael, what's the next step? No multiplication yet. Just let's see. Let me ask. Edwin's not here. I missed Edwin. He's been gone for a while. Alondra, do you know what to do next? How about Shakir? Do you know what to do next? What's up? Very good. And that means subtracting. So change, change, change. I'm starting to run out of space here a little bit, but the good news is this is the last time we'll have to do it, and I'll show you why in just a second. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. The 6x squared goes away, and this is interesting. This does not usually happen, but these go away too. That's kind of cool. They happen to be exactly opposite, negative 18 and positive 18. Usually you'll have something there. And then we have 30 and negative 23. That's going to be 7. I'll squish it in there, but there's a 7 there. All right, now how do we write our answer? Well, we do it the same way we did when we had our division problem. This is your main answer up here. That's how many times this went into this thing. So my main answer is 7x squared minus 6x plus 6. But we have a remainder, right? What's my remainder? 7. And you put your remainder over what? This thing. And you put a little plus there, just so you know. That is different. Yeah. All right. So there it is. This is a lengthy process. Now it's long, right? So yeah, it's long. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say this is like a, for this class, probably like an 8 or a 9 level problem, like in terms of length. But in terms of difficulty, what do you guys think? Scale of 1 to 10?
It just looks like a lot.
So there's a difference in math between two types of hard. There's the tedious hard, like that's a lot of work and I don't want to do it hard. There's the other hard, which is like I have no idea what's going on. I don't like this one. The tedious one, hey, that's just you persevering getting through it. But the hard stuff, that's different, like where you don't understand it. So let's separate those ideas in our mind. All right, so this time I'm going to have you guys do one step at a time here. I want you guys to get to this point. I'm going to tell you what I want. I want you guys to get your first number here. I want you to get these numbers here and here. Once you get to this point, I want you guys to stop and we'll check your work. So fill in these blanks for me. In other words, all you're going to do is one cycle. One cycle where you find how many times it's going there, multiply it, put it here, subtract, bring down, stop. Okay? And the reason I want you to do it only one cycle is because if you get that first cycle wrong, guess what happens to the rest of it? It's all going to be wrong. So you want to make sure that your first cycle is good, so your next cycle can be good. All right, so go ahead and do your first cycle. I'll give you a second there. Check your work with your neighbors. And I do want to remind a few of my cell phone starers. There's quite a few of you guys have been watching it throughout today's lesson. You have been losing points. I've been writing them down up here. Your guys' job right now is to take notes, pay attention, ask questions, not play on the phone. So just letting you guys know, you are losing participation points when you're staring at those phones. About 4 or 5 of you doing that. Okay, guys. So step one is to ask yourself, what would I multiply this by to get that?
Yeah.
So what would you multiply x by to get 5x to the 4th? Good, so we need the 5. And a little bit more of this, we need x to the 4th. So what would you multiply this by to get x to the 4th? X to the 3rd. And here's why, because this one is only 1x, right? If we multiply it by something with 3x's, then it becomes 4. So 5x to the 3rd. That's going to be what goes up there. So like, the next thing you gotta do is both of these, put your answer underneath it. Yeah, so we got. Matter of fact, I gotta go make a change. I'll be right back though. I'm gonna make a little change how I wrote this because it could look confusing if I write it like that. It's gonna look more like this. Now you just change these signs. So this will become negative. And this will become negative.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so this will change this. So like the 3. So that's going to get 4 now. You multiply it. You multiply here, that's going to be 5x. So now you're going to change the signs. So that's a negative and a negative. So you're going to combine. This should go away. But you're going to combine these. Yeah, well, these two are going to combine. So negative 4x cubed and negative 5x cubed plus negative 4 minus 5. Negative. So negative cube stays. And you bring that back. And that's what we're going to stop with. And then we're going to do the next cycle. So what do you multiply this by? Yeah, that doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to see what you guys have. Brianna, what did you put up here? Nothing yet? A 5x3? Okay. So the first thing you do is ask yourself, what would I multiply this by to get this? And the answer is 5x to the 3rd. And I shouldn't have it way over there. I should probably have it over here. Let me move it over. Just so we have a little more room. 5x3. I did. 3. I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly, where you put it. But I do like to line them up. All right, next. Niana, what goes here? It's going to be cubed, but yeah. So there it is. So you get that by multiplying these times these two. Okay. Next, we're going to ask Miles what goes here. Good. And then I will ask Stephen what goes here. Good. Okay, now we're ready for our second cycle. Okay, so you guys need to find out what goes here. And then you need to figure out what goes here, here, and then here and here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blanks to fill in there. Talk to each other, ask each other. This is the first thing you need to find. This is the second, this is the third, fourth, and fifth. You don't multiply. What you do is you ask yourself, what would I multiply this by to get this? And that's what goes there. So what would you multiply x by to get negative 9x cubed? And that goes up there. Close, but not cubed. All right, I'm going to ask you what you got in just a sec. All right, so Denise, what number goes up here? Yep, because that's what you'd multiply this by to get this. All right, next blank, I'm going to ask Lily what goes here. Right here. Negative 9x what? Yeah. And that comes because you're doing this number times this number. Azalea, what number goes here? Right here in this spot. Not sure? Okay. Let's try Crystal. Crystal, what number did you get right here? Good. So you get that by doing this number times 1. All right. Alonzo, what did you get right here? And let's talk to Amaya. What did you get right here? Close. It's negative 8x squared because the 9's bigger. So negative 9 plus 1. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to change the signs, didn't I? Thank you, Jedrick. So these are, I forgot the step. We were supposed to change those, which actually means it will be what? So what goes here instead? 10x squared. All right. And then the last blank there, Armani, what goes here?
12x.
Okay. Good. All right. So why don't you guys go ahead and see if you can finish the problem off here. Go ahead and do another. I think there's going to be 2 more cycles. So you need to find 2 more numbers here. Go ahead and see if you guys can bring it all the way home. I'll give you a little bit more time there. I need to shrink this or something. So, this one you only need 2. Okay, you're almost there. So just get rid of the edge there. Change that to -2. Change that sign. No, stop. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring this home a little bit here. So x goes into 10x squared 10x times. I'll put a plus there. That gives me 10x squared plus 10x. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract. These go away. 12 take away 10 is 2x. Bring down the 3. Next, we're going to say how many times does x go into 2x? Or in other words, what would you have to multiply x by to get 2x? It would be 2. You multiply that times both of these, and you get 2x plus 1. Oh, I'm sorry, plus 2. My bad. It is 2. Back to red, though. Good catch. Thank you. And then you subtract. These go away, and this is 1. Now, I'll call on somebody for this next part. This is the end of it, but we need to know how to write our answer. So, Natalie, how do I write my answer? So 1 over, which one? Very good. Now that's my remainder. That's the last part. We're going to have that. The rest of your answer is this stuff up here. So we want to include that also in front of it. So we'll have 5x cubed minus 9x squared plus 10x plus 2. That's my final answer there. All right. Let's see. Let's do one more, but from the top. I want you guys to do the whole problem, and then we'll be done. Okay. So I want you guys to do this whole problem all on your own. Go ahead. See if you guys can get it. I'll put the answer up shortly. I'm going to come around and check off notes while you guys are working on that. Cool. Well, you asked, so what would I multiply x squared by to get 3x cubed? I think it's figure out. You'll probably get it. Oh, yes? Did you comment? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you for sharing. Gotcha. It's a really short one. There's only 2 terms. This one's a really short one. It only has 2 numbers on the top.
Wait, does it have 3?
Mm-hmm. 1, 2. Yeah, let's start. I didn't check your bottom, but I'm assuming it's right. this is, you haven't changed the signs yet, right? Okay, so 3 times negative 16. But it's going to become positive when you change the sign. Probably. Oh, I didn't see your book. Okay. I don't know.
Mr. Bailey, it was your 3 number. Mine did. No, it's 2 number. I had a dream that I saw it. Really? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, you can't.
Oh,
Fantastic.
7 x squared.
Yeah.
The big part right.
No. The one that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
oh, you got it right.
You don't know how to say.
Well, it's going to be plus 18 because it's supposed to be negative to begin with. Like negative 3x times negative 6
Yeah.
is negative 18. And when you subtract it, you get back to 1. So it's 18 to 16.
Is this the remainder?
Yeah, I think so. You got 7x.
You really never.
I'm going to put the answer up so you guys can check it. And then I'll be right with you, Miles. So you're there. You got there. Yep. You just have to write the answer. Yeah. So what you guys might notice, this one, the remainder is 2 things. It's not just a single number this time. As soon as there's nothing else to bring down, that's going to be your remainder. You'd stop there. And so at that point, there's nothing else to bring down, so you can't go further with it. So that would be your remainder, the 7x minus 6. All right, now, let's see. You guys have 4 homework problems tonight. Yeah, because these take a while. One of them, now the second half, you guys, says use synthetic division. That's another method. But I figured it was better for us to spend time on this one method than learn a second one. So just do long division on all of them, and that'll be it. Huh? 4. All right, guys, so 4 homework problems. When it says use synthetic division, just ignore that and just do what we've been doing. Just do normal long division. We're going to call it a day there. All right, there's good. Thank you. Online in the future, but I'll take it today. Thank you. Yeah, you got time to turn.